What if all the ice on Earth melted in one night? Imagine waking up tomorrow morning to a planet that no longer resembled the one you knew the night before. The great white caps of Greenland and Antarctica are gone. The frozen shields that crown the poles have vanished, and every glacier on every mountain peak has dissolved into rushing torrents that feed directly into the sea. Oceans have surged as if the planet itself had inhaled and released a breath of unimaginable force, and within hours, entire coastlines are swallowed. The sight would be overwhelming, not only for its sheer scale, but for the speed at which it unfolds. Humanity would be caught in a story that feels like ancient myth, yet is grounded in stark scientific reality. A vision of Earth transformed not over centuries, but in the blink of a single night. Picture the vast continent of Antarctica, its mountains once concealed beneath kilometers of dense ice, suddenly bare and black against the sky, exposed ridges gleaming wet under the first rays of a new day. Imagine Greenland, its great expanse of white erased, rivers of meltwater rushing into the North Atlantic, altering its salinity in a catastrophic flood. All the frozen glaciers of the Himalayas, the Andes, the Alps, the Rockies, released in a matter of hours, turning valleys into seas, towns into islands, and rivers into monstrous torrents. As the first morning light spreads across the world, the oceans have already risen by more than 60 meters, a height that redraws the map of civilization itself. Cities we have long considered eternal vanish beneath the waves. London, Shanghai, New York, Rio de Janeiro, Alexandria, Mumbai, all submerged, their skylines hidden beneath brown surging waters. Coastal plains that have sustained billions of people for thousands of years become shallow seas, their farmland erased, their history drowned. The world population wakes in chaos, and the memory of coastlines once familiar becomes legend within hours. The science of this thought experiment reveals the staggering potential of the ice that still locks away so much water. Antarctica alone holds enough frozen reserves to lift oceans by more than 50 meters, while Greenland adds another 7. Together with every glacier scattered across the mountains of our world, the total is enough to transform the surface of Earth into something unrecognizable. The physics are straightforward, but the consequences are beyond comprehension. With one night of change, the Earth's delicate balance is destroyed, and humanity faces a reality in which survival depends on the fastest adaptation in history. The most immediate catastrophe is the obliteration of coastal regions, which today host more than half of humanity. In the first hours, hundreds of millions lose their homes. Entire nations disappear beneath the sea, small island states erased, low-lying countries such as Bangladesh, the Netherlands, and vast regions of Florida submerged entirely. Refugee crises explode on a scale never imagined as survivors flee inland in desperate search of higher ground. Governments collapse under the weight of impossible decisions, and ancient cultural centers vanish without trace beneath the dark surface of the ocean. Yet the flooding is only the beginning. As the ice vanishes, so too does the reflective shield it once cast back into space. Our world was cooled in part by these brilliant white surfaces, but with them gone, darker rock and open water absorb far more heat. Temperatures begin to climb relentlessly, and the planet spirals into a hotter state with terrifying speed. Deserts expand, storms grow fiercer, and rainfall patterns shift so violently that regions once fertile dry into wastelands, while others drown beneath endless floods. The seas themselves are not merely higher, but profoundly altered. As torrents of freshwater pour into the oceans, currents that have circulated heat around the globe for millennia collapse and reform in unpredictable ways. The Gulf Stream, a river of water that moderates climates on both sides of the Atlantic, falters. Northern Europe, once warmed by its flow, is plunged into winters of brutal intensity, while the tropics swelter in unbearable heat. The balance of the seasons is thrown into chaos, and the rhythm of nature fractures. Ecosystems unravel almost instantly. Coral reefs, already struggling with today's pace of warming, are annihilated by the double blow of rising seas and shifting chemistry. Countless species that depend on cold waters, from krill to polar bears, vanish in a single generation. Forests burn or drown as climates no longer match the needs of their trees. Agriculture falters as crops can no longer adapt to the speed of change, and the foundation of human food systems collapses. In this nightmarish scenario, even inland cities that initially escaped the flood find themselves battling hunger, disease, and waves of displaced humanity. Borders dissolve under the crush of migration, and survival becomes the only currency. Yet within this chaos lies a haunting beauty, an Earth reshaped into something both alien and strangely magnificent. New inland seas appear where plains once stretched. Ancient mountain ranges, stripped of ice, reveal hidden valleys and forgotten peaks. The planet seems raw, newly born, as if the violence of transformation has stripped away the layers of history to expose its primal form. For those who endure, the sight of 2/3 of human civilization erased beneath the waters is matched by the awe of landscapes unseen for millions of years. The story of what if all the ice melted in one night is not only one of disaster, but also of stark reflection. It reminds us that the ice is not permanent, that it is already melting, though slowly, under the steady hand of our warming atmosphere. The difference is time. Instead of one night, the true danger lies in the centuries to come, when the same forces imagined here may unfold with inexorable certainty. By contemplating this instant transformation, we are forced to confront the choices of today. Will we allow the melting to continue unchecked, or will we act to slow the course of history, giving ourselves and our descendants a chance to adapt? The image of Earth without ice is not fantasy. It is a possible future written into the physics of our planet. To imagine it happening in one night is to compress the scale of time into a vision we cannot ignore, a mirror held up to the fragility of our place in the cosmos. And so, the question lingers as the story closes. If tomorrow you awoke to a world reshaped, with coastlines gone and mountains bare, what would you feel? Grief for what was lost, awe at the power of nature, or a quiet resolve to ensure that such a night remains only a question, never an answer? The greatest question is not what would happen if all the ice melted, but whether we will allow it to happen. The answer lies in our choices today and in the world we leave behind tomorrow.